Uh, Thanks everybody for joining. Deb was so generous, kind, and brave enough to share kind of a recent experience that she had. She, I guess, took the breakthrough challenge with Tony Robbins, and that was in February, right? Right, Deb?
End of January.
End of January.
Yeah.
And she had let me know that she was going to be doing it. It was a 5-day event, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep. And I asked her, I asked her if she would do a couple things, and that was walk away with 3 takeaways. What's something that you want to take away and carry with you, and then also what's the actionable items that you can associate with those takeaways. I think the biggest thing is when we're kind of making these realizations or ahas or changes in our life, there needs to be something a little bit more action oriented behind it as well, just not the mental thought, but also the action that you plan to do to kind of change your life. She got done. We met the Monday right after the event, and really what she shared with me was spectacular. I've even pulled a lot of things from it. So I asked her if she would be inclined to share it with everybody here. And she was gracious enough to agree. So thank you, Deb. Huge thank you for sharing this with everybody.
Sure.
I guess off the bat, anything you want to share with your experience, anything that you want to share with the group?
Well, if you want, I'll just kind of start and
jump right in.
Go through it and see if it ends up being helpful.
There you go. And I think, for everybody on the call, I would say, jot down notes, write down any ahas that you have, and do the same thing. Look to find 3 things that you can take away. But not only that, what are 3 actionable items you can include really to change, the results you're seeing, the life you're experiencing. But I think this is really meant to be just kind of an inspirational, and motivational experience. So thank you, Deb, for sharing, what you took away from it. So I think this is spectacular. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Jerid. Okay. So can everybody see my screen?
We got it.
You got it? Okay. So okay. So like Jerid said, back in January, I signed up for a 5-day online event called the Breakthrough Challenge 2022 with Tony Robbins. And it was high impact, energy filled 5 full days. And so I thought I would share a few of the highlights, which are understanding a breakthrough and how to create one, beliefs about ourselves, how they can help us or hurt us, and then how to generate an extraordinary life. It's really all about our physical, emotional, and mental state. And just by changing our posture can change how we feel. So part of Tony Robbins' morning routine is he does something called the Egoscue method by Brian Bradley. And I'd like to share the video, this short little video of a few stretches and exercises that basically the Egoscue method is a series of stretches and exercises that help restore your body's balance and alignment. And it also helps get you into a peak energy state. So if you want to join me in a few of these exercises, you'll see how you feel after. And it's just quick.
Participate. Oh,
Can you hear it?
it didn't initially.
Okay. Hang on. Hopefully this works.
Maybe turn up the volume on the bottom of the YouTube video. Nope. That's all right. We can follow along. I got music in my head.
Can you hear it?
Oh, we do this. And I'll share this video and the link with everybody as well when I send out the recording.
Don't do that. Not that. Can you switch? It's supposed to be a good abdominal exercise.
Shoot, that was too easy. That was like running without running.
So yeah, every morning he would come on for the 5-day event and, get you going. And it's basically just kind of getting you in a peak energy state to clear your mind, get your blood flowing. And but yeah, I'm sorry you couldn't hear him, but if you want to look it up, it's the Gasku method. And there's all kinds of videos out there and research and stuff. And apparently, Tony Robbins was in a car accident, I guess when he was 30, and he was going through physical therapy and everything, and just couldn't get rid of the pain. And he started doing this, and within a few sessions, he was feeling a lot better. So it's designed to help. I guess our bodies are designed to heal itself.
Right.
But when it's out of alignment or whatever, it's not able to heal the way it's supposed to. So the biggest thing about this is it just helps realign or restore your natural alignment and balance. So some of the stretches and everything kind of help with that. So good job, everybody.
Yeah,
I think if you want.
I think my back cracked about 18 times.
I need to take off his hoodie. He's getting a good sweat.
So moving on, like Jerid said, we talked about the fact that I did the breakthrough challenge, and he suggested I come up with my top 3 ahas and my 3 action items. And so fortunately, there's a Facebook group for the breakthrough challenge, and one of the people in the group posted all their notes, very detailed notes. So I'm like, whew, thank you. So thank you to Dejela Osman. Hopefully I said that right, because their notes helped me organize mine. So let's move this. My top 3 ahas. The first one is the breakthrough, understanding what a breakthrough is and how to create it. Second is beliefs and how they control us. And then I'll talk about 5 things that will generate an extraordinary life.
And everybody, just real quick, Deb's
Yeah.
notes are at the bottom of each of these tiles too, if you need.
Yeah, helping me with what I'm trying to get across. So the first one, breakthrough. What is it? It's a moment in time when we must change something. It usually comes or happens when we feel some type of pain point and we're frustrated. We're at a point where we're saying, this isn't working. I can't do this. I'm done. So you're at a level where something has to change. And a way to have a breakthrough, they talk about the 3 S's: state, story, and strategy. So state is the first thing, and that, I'm moving my little guy out of the way. Hello. State, the most important thing for achieving a breakthrough is your mental and emotional state. Mind is the most powerful. You will find or not find whatever you're looking for. It all depends on your state of mind. An example is the salt analogy. If you're heading to the pantry and you're saying in your head the whole time, I can't find the salt's not in there, I'm not going to find it, then you won't find it even if it's right in front of you. Yeah. The opposite is also true. If you say to yourself, I'll find the salt, then you'll find it. So it's if you believe in your mind that you will find a way to make something happen, then things will fall into place and it will happen. Then the other part of that is the emotional state. Quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. just by changing your posture can affect how you feel. Increasing your energy can get you into a peak state of mind, like we just witnessed. Emotions that you live with is tied to your story. So that leads us to the story, which is the why. Your story is what you believe about yourself. Lack of confidence leads to a limiting story. Creating certainty in mind and body is how to be successful. So I can share my personal story with getting into real estate. My old story was I'm not good at selling myself. I viewed that as a negative, being pushy, which then led to a lack of confidence because I would not only think it, I would say it out loud. Yep, I'm not good at selling myself. And so that would just create a lack of confidence and a limiting story. So then move on to changing my story. My new story is I'm someone that can help. I love to help. I believe I'm good at helping others. And Jerid often talks about, hey, we provide a service. And viewing it that way helps me see it as a positive. So it's easy for me to put myself in someone else's shoes, which allows me to have empathy and just helps me to do for others the way I'd hope they'd be done for me. So that gives me confidence in myself, just how I view it. And so change your story, change your life. And then on to strategy. Strategy is kind of the how. Right state, right story will give you the right strategy. Many people start with the strategy, the how, to achieve something, but they get stuck because they haven't focused on their state of mind and their story. You want to be in the right state so that you can tell yourself the right story and you can finally implement the right strategy. And then my second aha was beliefs. Beliefs create and beliefs destroy. They can help us or hurt us. Our beliefs control everything. So belief as an identity. The only way to get lasting change is to understand the principle of identity. What is identity? Identity is the strongest force in the human personality. In other words, the strongest force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. The repetition of a negative pattern can transform into an identity in which you define yourself by that pattern. So let's look at the thermostat example. If your comfort level is 68 degrees and life, by throwing a few curveballs, lowers the temperature to below 68, eventually your body will alert you something is wrong and it needs to change. Then you turn the heat back up to 68, your comfort level. Same goes when life is going well, the heat rises to above 68. Eventually you'll feel uncomfortable at this level and will sabotage your progress back down to your comfort level, 68. When you define your state of your comfort as unchangeable, you identify with that level. So if we tell ourselves, my comfort level is where I belong, then we won't be able to go any higher. What we need to do is an identity shift. A new belief will expand your identity. Expand your identity, a whole new world is available to you, and you will be able to sustain it. And then the third aha is 5 things that will generate an extraordinary life. But we must first change our emotional state. So number 1, physiology. Energy is everything. The way you breathe, body posture, level of hydration, energy in your actions are all direct causes of your emotional state. Energy is the single most important thing to have a quality, successful life. Energy is a habit. The goal is to live an energy-rich life. And then 2, focus. Focus equal feeling. Whatever you focus on will determine how you feel. If you focus on good or bad situations, you will feel good or bad. It depends on whether you focus on what you have or what is missing. When we focus on the things that went wrong in the past, it causes us to feel stuck. So we need to change our focus. And then 3, language. Language creates meaning. Words create feelings and emotions. Meaning equals emotions. Emotions equal life. The language you use to define the meaning of situations will dictate the way you feel about those situations. So, give an example of procrastination. I know in my past, things that were hard for me, I tend to put them off. And so I could label myself as a procrastinator, which is negative, or I can acknowledge that I tend to procrastinate if it's hard, but I can choose to do the hard things first, get them over with. So procrastinator is a label, and that's negative. Procrastinate is an action, and you can choose to change that, and that's a positive.
I like that.
And then 4, purpose. Purpose, a compelling future. To have a compelling future, you must have a vision that drives you. You cannot change your physiology, focus, or language unless you have the desire to do so. This only happens if you create a compelling future for yourself, which acts as the purpose of your life. In other words, faith. Faith that what you desire can happen and that you will achieve it. I heard Steve Harvey once say, faith doesn't make it easy, it makes it possible.
Love that.
And then finally, the 5th thing that will generate an extraordinary life is identity. In history, people embodied different identities based on their reaction to their circumstances. These identities changed the world. This happens in cycles. Moving my little guy. Good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. Bad times create strong people, and strong people create great times. Don't let your circumstances dictate your identity. Choose to embody the identity that generates energy in your body and positive judgments of the world around you. And then onto my 3 actions, convert learning to action. 1, condition my brain. 2, expand my identity. And 3, pay attention to self-talk. So, first one, condition my brain. For the last couple of years, I've been listening to Joyce Meyer YouTube video first thing in the morning, and it just kind of kicks off my day in a spiritually positive light. And then when I'm getting ready or emptying the dishwasher, folding clothes, all the fun stuff in life, I'll listen to a motivational video or an educational podcast or even a comedian on my phone just to keep conditioning my brain. And then sitting at my computer before starting my work day, I'm starting to implement the Egoscue method to help get my mind and body into a peak energy state. And then my second action is expand my identity by pushing myself out of my comfort zone. That'll help me gain confidence and shift my belief. So one of the things I've done recently, just before St. Patrick's Day, I put together a few little gifts for all the neighbors. We're in a community that has about 84 neighbors, homes. And so I put together a little package, and part of that package was a postcard from Canva saying, I'm not just a real estate agent, I'm your neighbor. And I guess I still find that funny because it is out of my comfort zone, but it just had a little blurb about myself and how I can help. And so, it's a start.
Right.
And then another thing I want to do is basically be more consistent with attending a real estate investment group called Invest Success. And I guess to be more consistent, I've been once, so anything would be more consistent, but it's a goal that I have. So they have an event on the second Saturday of each month called Fisher's Breakfast. And it's, it's $25 and full-on breakfast, but it's a group of investors, realtors, contractors, and they're all networking together. So you have breakfast, there's usually a speaker and says a few things kind of about the market, what's going on, everything like that. And then really everybody goes through and introduces themselves and just, says an offer of help with what they can help with. And then they give you time to kind of network afterwards. And so that again is out of my comfort zone, but I view that as, it's definitely a positive and doesn't hurt to get out there and talk to others. And, that's how I can find out where I can help. And then another thing that I've done recently, last week, I signed up with a social media expert. Her name's Karen Liz Albert, to expand my social media presence. And it's called Behind Your Curtain. And so basically we'll have a few strategy sessions and then she'll and the team will, I guess, really beef up my Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's easy because I'm not really on it. So have a good blank canvas. But I've heard of Karen through the Zoom call you did a while back, Jerid, with Steve Black. And he did like social media classes that I signed up for too. And so, all of this is at least helpful in building up my confidence and feeling like, it's all in how I view things. I love to help, so that's a good way for me to view it, and that helps me maintain my confidence.
I love it.
And then the third action is, which is big, but I'm getting a lot better at this. Pay attention to the words I say to myself. Be as big of a supporter to myself as I am to others. It's really easy for me to encourage others, see the positives all the time, but I'm definitely hard on myself. So I'm working on that. So in doing that, I'll choose words that positively shape how I think, how I feel, to create a peak energy state that will determine what I do and lead me to a fulfilling life. And then continue to have faith that God has a purpose for my life and I want to fulfill that purpose. And once again, faith doesn't make it easy, it makes it possible.
I love that quote.
Thanks. Well, I wanted to share this short video with Tony Robbins to kind of just help tie all this together, because he definitely has the energy and it's just good to hear. I guess I'll try it. I'm wondering why it's hard to hear the video.
Yeah, and I think it's just because it's pumping it out of your speakers and not picking it up through your microphone, but not sure. But definitely share these links and I'll include it with the email. But if you want to try and see if it'll play.
Maybe because I have my laptop and then I have a monitor. Obviously maybe my speakers aren't on in the monitor type thing. Let's see. I don't know.
I'm not tech savvy enough.
All right. Well, okay. Well, let's give it a go. You can give me a thumbs up if you can hear it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. We can try and see if I can do full screen, and it'll click on here in a minute. hopefully. Here we go. Let's give it a go. Can you hear?
No.
Well, if you can't hear it, it's not going to be the same effect. Do you know if you could play it, Jerid?
You know, maybe if you, to be honest, I just don't
Yeah.
know.
That's the part I should have tested. Huh. All right. Well, you know, it's called, and there's all kinds, but this one was kind of short, and it ties in, you know, talks about the thermostat example and a few different things, all about kind of our thoughts and how they really can help us or hurt us. That's what it boils down to. And so it's a good one. It's called Stop Negative Thinking. It's not part of the 5-day, but it touches on a lot of the similar ideas. So it's worth the listen. I wish you could hear it, but I'm not the tech. Well, I'll let that go.
Yeah. Send me the link for sure, and I'll share it.
That's what I was gonna say.
It looks
Can
like you
share it
have-
up there.
On your YouTube settings down there, where it's on the bottom right-hand corner, what is, why do you have a lot, what is it?
Auto quality, subtitles, playback speed, annotations,
Okay.
and then info. Well,
Are you trying to play it directly from YouTube or from your deck that you prepared?
Presentation.
Yeah, I do have it in from YouTube, the link. I wonder if I can play it that way, but I tried to save it, and then I inserted it into the slideshow. So I
Maybe-
wonder,
Yeah,
That could be why. Maybe if you play it directly from YouTube, it might work. I don't know. I'm just
okay, let me just try real
Trying
quick. If
troubleshoot
guys-
here.
Yeah, thank you. If you guys are okay on time, I'll try real quick
Yeah.
and see what happens. Let's see, where did we have that? Thing. Yep.
Your inbox looks just like mine. All the taxes there, the tax folders.
I was just saying the same thing.
Okay, let me see if this will work this way. Hang on. Can you hear?
No.
Done it again. Well, that stinks. I wonder if I switch it to my laptop, but I don't know. Then I'd have to. Well, I could send this to you, Jerid, real quick. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
either
like
way,
that.
I'll definitely share it with everybody just so we can.
Okay. I love how I always say real quick, because nothing's real quick. Okay. Oops. Okay. But yeah, anyway, that's my my takeaways from everything. And then my last slide is kind of the biggest thing is we want to expand our identity, and then a whole new world is available to us, and we will be able to sustain it.
You know, I appreciate you sharing this because, you know, Debbie, you're not the only one that, is experiencing this. And I think even, when you shared with,
Progress equals happiness. If you keep
Can you hear mine?
I
growing,
can hear it.
you're gonna feel.
can you hear mine now?
Yeah.
If you want, switch me to host real quick, right click on my face and it'll say make me host.
I could hear it when you were playing it.
There you go.
Okay.
Did you switch me to host?
Yeah. Did it work?
Yep.
Do I stop sharing? Yeah, maybe I do that.
There you go.
Progress equals happiness. If you keep growing, you're gonna feel alive. And if
I
you
can
keep
hear it.
growing, you're gonna have more to give. Your mind, your emotions, your body. You have 100% control over what you do with these things. And that's where the game is won. You win the inner game, then you win the outer game. And if you don't grow, I don't give a damn how much you got going for you, you're gonna be miserable. It gets so bad over and over again, you start thinking the problem's permanent. No problem is permanent. But expand your own sense of who you really are and what you're capable of. And people think they're gonna get identity by, you go through so many changes in here. It's like, that's what we need today. We need to re-engineer ourselves, but it's a certain core philosophy that allows you to grow anything. But it starts with the people themselves. And my whole thing is one choice is no choice. Two choices, there's always three choices. Like you said, I may not like the choice, but it's there. But more importantly, I think it's getting people to see that what they thought was possible, impossible is possible. The more you can give people an experience, like talk's cheap. But I've done enough things in my life with enough people at this stage. I've got a track record where it's like, I said it's going to happen. Most people say it's probably true. It's probably likely he's going to pull it off. Maybe I should jump on board. But the mindset has to be destroy any limitation and move forward, move forward, move forward. There is a way, move forward. And I think if you watch this, it's like taking off on a plane from, I'm in Texas right now. If I flew from Dallas here to go to Hawaii, you're off course about 90% of the time. I'm a pilot. Now, what if every time I'm off course, oh my God, I'm off course. Oh, I should freak out. Oh my God, I'm off course again. But you just tack back and forth and you land exactly where you want to be, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 miles, away. And I think that's how we have to navigate. But most of us, and especially during these COVID times, most of us have been conditioned not to take a risk. People ask me all the time, what does it take to be happy? And I always tell them it's really simple. One word, progress. Progress equals happiness. If you keep growing, you're going to feel alive. And if you keep growing, you're going to have more to give. And when you're growing and giving is when life is magnificent. It doesn't matter how many statues, Oscars they give you, or Emmys, or how much money you have in the bank. We've all seen people have all those things, and I get the phone call because they're depressed or somebody commits suicide in that area. So it's really an inner game. And I think that's what's missing for us today. Everybody's focusing on the outside world, and hell, there's a lot of things in the outside world you'll never be able to control. You can influence, but you can't control it. This, your mind, your emotions, your body, you have 100% control over what you do with these things. And that's where the game is won. You win the inner game, then you win the outer game. But a lot of people spent their life trying to win the outer game, they won and they're miserable. So to me, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And so many people are focused on success still, which to me is like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like success is getting what you want. Fulfillment is living what you're made for, and it's like fulfillment and success, they're not even in the same universe. There's nothing wrong with going for success, but you really got to figure out what you're made for. And nobody knows in the beginning. So you start where you are and you do what's in front of you, you do what's next, and you keep growing until you start to discover, hey, this is my real passion. This is my real hunger and drive. And it can change. People go for 5, 6, 7 years, and then they usually question their business, their career, their body, their relationships. And then one of two things happens. They change direction and feel renewed, or they go, no, I got a great deal here. What the hell's wrong with me? And they recommit and they get stronger. But that's life. And if you don't grow, I don't give a damn how much you got going for you, you're going to be miserable. It's so bad over and over again, you start thinking the problem's permanent. No problem is permanent. Or you start thinking the problem's pervasive because I haven't handled my finances, my whole world's over. Or because my relationship's bad, my whole world's over. Your life is bigger than that. Or all this is happening because there's something wrong with me. When you get to that point, you stop trying. And so my goal right now is to shake that up for people. People need a new perspective, and you can't do it by just sitting and thinking. You got to move your body. You got to change your energy and your focus, because low level of energy, I don't think how smart you are, you're not going to use all your ability. But if I get you into a higher state of being, mentally, emotionally, physically, then all of a sudden you start remembering who you are and you start coming up with answers that you never even thought were possible before. We all define ourselves in certain ways, and most of us defined ourselves years ago, and we haven't done an update. And now you're in an environment where you're constantly told how bad it is, how terrible it is. So that stimulates the old part of the human brain, the fight or flight mechanism, the part of your brain that's always looking for what's wrong so you can hide from it, you know, or you can fight it, or you can freeze and hope it doesn't notice, or you can run from it.
Hey, what's up? Listen, I made over $2.5 million. No website. Check this out. You see those numbers? Absolutely incredible. Here's the thing.
There we go.
And so that part of our
Kill
brain is never gonna
momentum.
make you happy. It's an important part. There's no saber-tooth tiger for us to run from anymore or fight, right? Not for most people. But now we get that about what are people saying about me online, or, you know, or do I have enough money in a country that even if you have very little money in America, even if you're in quote unquote a poor environment, you know, I provide 100 million meals a year. Now I'm almost to 1 billion meals now. I mean, 825 million meals, to give you an idea, in the last 7 years. So I'm into helping everyone I possibly can, but you got to help them here and here too. You know, so I use the food as the excuse to get into here and here and start showing people what's possible. And I think we're in a place right now where a lot of people are in this learned helplessness and they don't realize, you know, if as an identity, if identity is how you identified yourself and you see yourself as a procrastinator. Why? Because you procrastinated so many times and disappointed. You don't want to be disappointed. So now you're a procrastinator. You're no longer disappointed. You feel certain you'll never have your goals, but you feel certain. That's what most people do in their life. But if you set, let's say, a thermostat in this room at 78 degrees and the temperature drops far enough, something's going to happen because the computer's going to go, hey, you're a 78 degree, or what are you doing here at 68? And the heaters kick on and suddenly you get this drive. I'm sure your listeners or viewers have had this experience many times in their life where finally it's not another day, I'm changing this relationship, I'm losing this weight, I'm going to finally do something. And then you push. Now, some people push, and they go beyond their comfort zone, beyond what they expect, not their goals. It's what they're used to, it's their comfort zone. And let's say that 68 degrees is what they're used to financially. It's not what they want, or their relationship, or spiritually, or physically. And they grow to 88, 98, 99 degrees. Suddenly the brain goes, hey, what are you doing here? You're not a 99 degree. And then all of a sudden the heaters stop and you lose your drive. And if that's not a bad, the air conditioners kick on and you start to sabotage and you go, what happened to my life? So identity is the number one thing I work to change with people, to expand it, not to get rid of it, but expand your own sense of who you really are and what you're capable of. And people think they're going to get identity by, people say to me, I have no self-esteem. I hate that word. So overused and abused. I don't have any self-esteem because when I was growing up, my parents said these terrible things and those terrible things. And I said, isn't it convenient you only remember those things? You know, they said a million things, but suddenly you've honed in on those. But let's get real. Someone can tell you your whole life you're a piece of crap, but you can say, screw you, read between the lines and make your life work. Someone can tell you your whole life you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're the smartest person in the world, and you don't believe it. Because self-esteem doesn't come from what people say about you. Self-esteem is earned within yourself. It's esteem for yourself, which only comes by doing things that are incredibly difficult. And then your brain goes, this is who I am. The reason I've done firewalks for years, I used to do skydiving, but it's hard to get 30,000 people in the middle of the air above New York in the middle of the night. But the reason I did these metaphors was because when someone does something they once thought was difficult or impossible, and you get the other side, the brain goes, if I can get myself to do this, what else can I get myself to do? It changes their identity. When your identity expands, your whole world expands. One of the things you have to understand about life is everything changes and everything ends. If everything changes and everything ends, number one, it should make you appreciate what you have right now. And then my view is what's next is always better. If I make it so, it's my job to make it so. When the energy's there, you're ready to rock and roll. And then what do I do with them to make the changes in their emotions? Because that's where all the power is. Emotions cause wars, they cause peace, they get you laid, they make you get married or have children. They're everything, but if we don't know how to run them and they run us, we're in trouble. You go through so many changes in here. It's like, that's what we need today. We need to re-engineer ourselves. If you've ever seen one of these Baja races, 1,000 miles in the desert, or, there's a million different races that if you took a normal car, you'd be out of it and probably die in the first day or so. But what they've done is re-engineer the shock absorbers, the size of the tires, the engine system. And we need to re-engineer ourselves for winter. We need to re-engineer ourselves so that we can thrive, not just survive during this time. And that's what I'm seeing people do in their life and their businesses. I mean, it's been really, I know it sounds crazy, but it's been one of the more beautiful times. I hate the fear that's been generated in so many people unduly. I mean, this CDC themselves, I wrote this in my book, there's a section in my health book, and I quote directly from the CDC. What's the #1 risk factor other than age? 80% of people die of COVID, 79.8% are overweight and obese, extremely overweight, something you can easily do something about, nobody talks about. And #2 is fear, because the anxiety makes people change their breath, they can't fully oxygenate. So it's like, there's a lot within our control if we just wake up. But the beautiful part of COVID is a lot of people waking up to what's possible, seeing where it is, seeing how they could change their entire business. Because when things happen, and they're going to be unjust things, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter what country you're from. Injustice is everywhere. It's going to happen to all of us at various times, right? Or it may not just be injustice, just like, wow, you got cancer. I mean, it's like, you know, what do I do to deserve this? It isn't like that. It's not something you earn by brownie points. It's like, okay, what am I going to do with what life has brought me? And my greatest growth that's helped me help so many other people is because, you know, someone tells me I got a tumor in my brain and I'm going to die. And I'm like, I don't accept that, right? I got a torn rotator cuff and there's, you know, you're going to have to go through 6 months of rehab. I'm not going to accept that. There's got to be another way, you know? And so, and the things you can't control, you learn how to accept and learn from.
So there you go.
Good stuff. Yeah, thank you, Deb. You know, I think this was a good experience for everybody. You know, I think
I failed all my
Uh-oh,
classes
still
in high
playing.
school and ended up dropping out. I also
here we go. I sure appreciate you sharing it, Deb. I think, you know, one of my biggest takeaways just from you sharing the original, you know, your original notes was the Steve Harvey quote, you know, faith doesn't make it easy, it makes it possible. And I think, you know, just remembering, you know, having faith in what we want, you know, for tomorrow. You know, it's not going to be easy, you know, adjusting our temperature, like he was saying. You know, it's not going to be easy adjusting the things that we say to each other. But I think as long as we, you know, keep moving forward and keep progressing, you know, the rest of it kind of follows suit. So I got to say a huge thank you, Deb, for being brave enough to share this with us.
I like the point about energy, being in the right state of mind, emotionally, mentally, and also towards what we can do physically to get that. Because I find that if my energy is down, I can't do anything. But when my energy is up, I can flip and take on the world. So that was a really good reminder.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Good stuff. Anybody have any thoughts, questions for Deb?
I think just the simplest way to sum it all up is that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, right? So everything, right, to sum it up, what's going on in here internally, mentally, physically, and health will translate to what your outer world looks like and how it's feeling your successes and your relationships and everything else. So I think it's brilliant.
Love it. Love
Well said.
Quick
Yeah.
to change that self-talk, that's a really important thing, isn't it?
it.
We all know it. You've got to do it.
Right.
God damn it.
Well, and I think that's why I wanted Deb to share this is this isn't just Deb's struggle. This is all of our reality, you know. And I think that, you know, this industry just alone makes it, you know, easy for us to fall into negative patterns or, you know, fall out of production just because of, you know, the struggles that we do face. And I think just, you know, I just always go back to that quote, you know, faith doesn't make it easy, it makes it possible. And just remembering the possibility is there, you know, keep working through it, keep saying positive things, change your belief, change the words you're saying for yourselves. And, you know, the sky's the limit. So huge thank you to Deb. Thank you, Deb.
Oh,
That's a
of
really
course.
a practical thing that happened a long time ago, and I wish I remembered to employ it in my life. But there's along what Deb was teaching us, there's a way of thinking, it's called psychocybernetics, which is using that. Tony Robbins is saying your brain is the most powerful tool you've got, and visualizing things. And I put it into practice with my competitive equestrian past, and I read this book and I took it on board, and it's very hard to tell myself that I'm a really good rider, and I can tell my horses they're fabulous and they're the best, but me not so much. And I take a few minutes every day to visualize the competition coming up, to ride it in my mind, what have you. And blow me down. I went out and I wiped the floor with my trainer. I wiped the floor with my competitors, and I wasn't riding top horses. I had one really good horse and one very mediocre one. I called Myrtle the turtle because she waddled. And we won really well. And I just wish I had the discipline to put that into practice in life more often, because it does work.
Definitely. And
I pissed everybody off. It was wonderful.
And I think that's why I wanted Deb to share this was, I mean, I think all of us can take away something, but if we all remember that we're all kind of in this together and we can look to each other, I'm always available if you guys need anything. Deb's I love chatting with Deb. I think you and I end up having some pretty good conversations every time, but sometimes we need those little check-ins and checkups with each other. So definitely check in with yourself. And if you guys need anything at all, definitely check in with me too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cece, that's a good point. It's a discipline. Like you said, we all know it. It's just choosing to do it for ourselves. And we all have ups and downs, but the sooner we recognize the downs, what we're thinking promotes to how we're feeling, we can change that. And then before you know it, it starts to be more of a habit the other way in a positive direction. So it's all good stuff. And thank you guys for your time and letting me share this with you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Deb. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Jared.
You
Thank
bet.
you. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great day. Check in with me if you need anything, and let's get out there.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.